All right, so Anders, go ahead, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me back there? Yes, excellent. So my name is Anders, and I'm the CEO of Kantega SSO. First, a little bit background for this talk. Back in February, we knew we wanted to sponsor this event, but we didn't really know what we should demonstrate because we didn't have any app yet. However, we had just started implementing what we call an innovation system. And this system really helps us speed up the process and also increase the quality of our new apps. So we decided to make a talk about the process and hopefully have an app launched in time for Team 23. And I can now share that we launched an app built in Forge 2 weeks ago. It went from ideation to launch in just 6 weeks. And I will come back to that app towards the end of the presentation. Some facts about us. Kantega is actually an IT consultancy company in Norway. We're around 200 employees in Trondheim, Oslo, and Bergen. And we are what we call a full-stack IT consultancy. So we do everything within IT technology, helping customers with the needs they have. We don't do Atlassian solution partnering, though. We are a different kind of IT consultancy company. The Kantega SSO team, which is fully owned by Kantega, is only 16 members, of which 6 are students, so we are a quite small team, even though we have been in the marketplace for almost 10 years. We are also highly distributed. In the last autumn, we had people working from 8 different locations in 4 different countries. So why did we implement an innovation system? The short answer is that we believe that the future is in the cloud, as everybody else does, and we want to be part of that. And since we can't do SSO in the cloud, we have to innovate and find the different kinds of apps that we can sell. When we started this process, we really needed to define what we meant by what we meant with innovation. And we chose to build our definition from the book Corporate Startup by Tenai Wiki and Dan Thoma. So this is the definition. The creation of new products and services that deliver value to customers in a manner that is supported by a sustainable and profitable business model. So, in other words, innovation happens both on a technical and organizational level. And of course, we all know that when you innovate, you will not have only successes, there will be a lot of failures during the process. So, an innovation system, what is that? It's a process that consists of 5 parts. We have the innovation thesis, we have the innovation portfolio, an innovation framework, innovation practice, and innovation accounting. The innovation thesis and portfolio, that's part of the innovation strategy. Innovation framework and accounting is part of the innovation management, and innovation practice, that is practice. And the model also states that you can't do true innovation unless you have a culture that nurtures it and leadership that supports it. So in this talk, I will concentrate on our innovation portfolio, the framework, and the practice, and how we have set this up. So our innovation framework is inspired by the company DNV-GL, which is a Norwegian company. They use this framework, and basically all innovation frameworks is a variation of this. You start with some insight, you discover, explore, and validate the viability. You produce a proof of concept, you build the product, you scale the products, and then you sustain the product. So our framework has 3 phases and 5 stages. In phase 1, the focus is to explore and evaluate if an idea is what we call desirable, feasible, and viable. In phase 2, we explore and evaluate the value proposition. And in phase 3, we evaluate the market fit. And the point here, you have seen the trash cans. For each stage, we really try to force the idea into the trash can, because building an idea that is really not productive will cost time and money, and we want to avoid that. So we celebrate all our failures if they happen early on. In an innovation system, the focus shifts from attempting to fulfill a user story to attempting to falsify a hypothesis. And we do this through experimentation. So we don't we don't say as a role, I want function to solve that benefit anymore. We try to find some experiment where we can actually measure success, and then that will either verify or falsify the hypothesis. And just this shift is maybe the hardest part that we have gone through in this process, because we now need to be very precise in what we want to learn with each experiment. That is something that's really hard to do sometimes. The most important part of implementing the innovation system is the people, of course, as we all know. We have selected to set up a team that consists of 3 different groups, and each have their own responsibilities. So the product trio have the task to explore and evaluate if an idea is desirable, feasible, and viable, as I mentioned before. This is done by formulating hypotheses, and my role in this innovation team is to act as the product manager. The extended team is UX people and developers. They are responsible for conducting the actual experiments. The product trio also take part in this, so we help out doing the experiments, and we also are available if someone needs help to conduct an experiment. The third group is the venture board, and this is a really important part of the innovation system. It consists of external people, which means they look at an idea from a different viewpoint. They don't have the bias that the team has. And in our case, the executive leader is the chairman of the board, and the external representative is Jon Espen, who used to be CEO in Kantega SSO before me. And in this venture board, I act as the leader who facilitates the meetings. We have bi-weekly meetings, and the innovation manager and domain expert are also present to help out and explain the ideas and explain the experiments that has been run. A core aspect of innovation is that it's really messy, right? It's not a straightforward process. To help us organize, we have set up 2 boards in Jira. One is the Ideation Board. Here we keep track of all the ideas, and we also keep track of which phase in the life cycle they have reached. And this is more or less a copy of the innovation framework. And here the outcome of an idea can either be that it's launched in marketplace and we evaluate market fit that way. It can be put on ice. This can happen if we have APIs in Forge, which is not ready yet. We know that might come, or we hope they might come, or they can be just thrown away. Each idea is represented by a Jira task, and this serves 2 purposes. The first is to describe the idea, what is the customer needs, and maybe most important, how it aligns with our innovation thesis. If it's not aligned with the innovation thesis, we throw it away. The second purpose is to identify and document each of the experiments that we run. And an experiment can have these statuses. The red exclamation mark says that this is a really important experiment. We need to do this to go forth. A gray exclamation mark says this is an interesting experiment. We can do it later, but we don't have to do it now. We use the magnifying glass to say that this is an experiment that we have started. And then an experiment can either be verified or falsified. So we really get the full picture in this Jira task. We also have an experiment board. Each experiment is represented by a task in which we have also set up in Jira, of course. An experiment can be planned, it can be in process, it can be collecting data, or it can be done. And this is where the extended innovation team works. And each JIRA task, we document all the insights that the experiment gathers. So here's all the documentation for each experiment. When we have put a few ideas through the pipeline, we are building an innovation portfolio. And an innovation can take part either as a core innovation, adjacent innovation, or transformational innovation. And ideally, we try to have a 40-20 representation here. So 40% is core innovation, 40% is adjacent innovation, and 20% is transformational. Right now, we have about 40-30-30, but we think that might change after a while. So a quick example of each kind of innovation that we have done in the last few months. Core innovation is typically extension to existing features in our core product. So this is our release 630, and we had 4 features that were extended this way. Adjacent innovation is when we make new feature in our core solution, which is something else than we have done before. So this is an example of what I released this autumn. It's called user cleanup, and by this feature you can deactivate users who either haven't logged in or haven't logged in for a long time. So you can actually save license costs this way. And then we have transformational innovation, and our new Forge app is of this category. Forge app it's called ECA Groups by Kantega, and what it does, it helps the administrator to assign groups to new users by using roles. And user testing has shown that this app can reduce onboarding time by as much as 90%, and it decreases the risk of signing wrong groups to the users. Okay, my Wi-Fi is not good enough to show the video, so I'll skip that. We have a video of it in on our website, so we can look at that. So, right, that's it. Any questions?
First, if I can get a round of applause from everyone for his presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Going once? Going twice? Sold. All right.
Okay.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time, and thank you for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you. And if you want to discuss this further, you can look us up in booth 44.
Booth 44 during the expo.